Hey everyone, thank you so much for voting in my latest top 10 poll. It's crazy the amount of votes I got. I wasn't expecting the gym to win by such a large margin, but here we are. Now I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably looking at me and thinking, Kiwi, you go to the gym? I'm afraid I don't quite see it. Here's the thing. I actually have a really, really fast metabolism. To the point it's actually annoying because I have to consume a lot of food just to put on weight. And I don't want to just be stuffing my face all the time. The other thing is I live in New Zealand, right? And there are mountains everywhere here, even in the cities. And as a result, I do a lot of walking and I do a lot of hiking. In fact, behind my house is a mountain that I climb once a week or once every fortnight. And it's about 1,400 steps to the top. So I do a lot of walking and hiking regularly. And when I go to the gym, I'm just trying to stay in shape. I'm not trying to be super buff. I'm not trying to look like Dwayne Johnson or Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, okay? I just go to stay in shape. That's all I do. So this list is primarily made up of tracks that I listen to in the gym for cardio or weights, okay? But that's enough of me rambling. Let's get into this. GTA 5 is actually quite underrated in terms of its soundtrack. I don't hear it talked about often, but this is probably the most memorable track from the game for me during the tutorial section, and it really gets the blood pumping, you know? The drums are simple but effective. And then you've got an arpeggiated bass. And then you've got the cool MIDI guitar. Usually I'm against MIDI guitars, particularly these days, but I actually think it suits the track. Down, 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 down. You know those exercise YouTubers or aerobics instructors? I could imagine them making a video and this song playing in the background. This is a great cardio song and it really gets me in the zone, so that's why it's in my top 10. Xenoblade Chronicles, a game I have never played and will probably never play. But with that being said, this soundtrack is banging, right? And this particular track, Prologue B, I've actually nicknamed it Crescendo, because that's basically what the track is. It just keeps building and building till the climax. It's an awesome song, I think, for weights. Really, really gets you in the zone. But there's a couple of other reasons why I love it. One is the spiccato strings. And the reason why is those spiccato strings in particular remind me of the first Terminator film score. I'm a huge fan of the Terminator franchise, and something you guys probably didn't know is I am actually named after the hero in the first Terminator film. My parents were originally going to name me Chad, and my brother, who was a huge Terminator fan, suggested the name Reese to my parents. And they were like, oh yeah. So I'm named after the hero in the first Terminator film. So anything that reminds me of the Terminator is going to get brownie points. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I'm a huge fan of the Commando film score. And for some reason, I don't even know why, this track reminds me a bit of it. The bass line, man, that da-dum-dum, dum-dum-dum. The drums, when they kick in, really start setting the tone, man. So this is one of those banging tracks. Triceratops Trot. I know a lot of people are probably like, what the hell is this? Because the best thing about the Jurassic Park game for the SNES is the soundtrack. And most people have never played the game. And there's only like 6 songs on the soundtrack, but they're all bangers. And they're all great for a workout, except for one, which is the building theme, because that's like some psychotic horror shit. Don't be playing that in the gym. People will think you're a weirdo. I think the soundtrack is severely underrated, and this is my jam, man. I love this jam. And I think a lot of the appeal of the track does come down to the drums. The drums are banging, man. If I made a top 10 club songs or top 10 dance tracks, this would probably be in there as well, man. This is just a cool as track to just really get you in the zone for cardio. The only thing they fear is you. Come on, you knew Mick Gordon was going to be in here somewhere. It's inevitable, right? If somebody had just all Mick Gordon tracks as their top 10, I wouldn't even blame you, because it could easily be done, right? Him and the gym go hand in hand. And it's got such a cool, simple rhythm, man. Ding down, 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 da da ding down, down, down. Even the breakdown with the synths, the do 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 do. Mick did mention that with the Doom Eternal soundtrack, his aim was to make it more groove oriented, and he hit the nail on the head.
When the first pieces of music that I was putting together started getting into the game, it actually wasn't working. It was actually like too much. It was getting a bit too distracting. And that's why a lot more of the music in Doom Eternal is sort of slower groove-based stuff.
This is one of my weight songs, man. This makes me get that extra pump. If I'm plateauing, just crank this, and I can do a whole nother set. Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Here's the thing, right? I remember buying this game and playing through the entire campaign. Then I invited some friends over to play multiplayer. I'm a local multiplayer guy for the most part. So I hadn't even played any online multiplayer at this point. We all got on the couch, all getting ready to play. I go into the multiplayer menu and this theme kicks in. And I was like, oh shit, this is going on my gym playlist straight away. That dubstep bass line, right? That bwap, 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 bwap. And even the breakdown, the dum, 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 dum. Drums a banger as well. Even the electric guitar. This is like the perfect weight song. Sonic the Hedgehog actually has some pretty cool jams, man. Some pretty good songs for the gym. This is probably my favorite song from Sonic Adventure 2. The track is awesome, man. And I must say that the song without the guitar, the electric guitar, it doesn't hit as hard, man. That electric guitar is the key thing that drives this song. And I do have to give it extra brownie points because one, they included a steel drum in it. I love steel drums, man. And the little James Bond Easter egg. This is the best song in Sonic Adventure 2, and it really gets your heart rate up. You know a soundtrack is good when you've never even played the game, and yet you think every song is a banger, despite having no emotional attachment to the soundtrack within a game previously because you've never played it. And that's how I feel about Xenoblade Chronicles. It's a phenomenal soundtrack, and this jam goes hard. A lot of it has to do with the tempo because it's so fast. Must be like 180 beats per minute or 200 beats per minute. And I love that little guitar string thing. The electric guitar does a lot of the heavy lifting with this. But if you took the electric guitar out, it would still be a banger because it's carried so much by the drums, the bass, and the strings. I might play this song sometimes when I'm hiking as well, because I get to a point where I have nothing left in me, right? I've been climbing this mountain for ages, and I feel like I have no energy left. And then I just crank this, and I can run up those steps. This track is so good, man. I mentioned in my last video how much I love the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, but this is the jam for the gym, man. There is so much going on dynamically with the whole track. Not just the electric guitar. There's so many different breakdowns. It goes in so many different directions. I must say that the track would not work as well without the electric guitar. I don't see how you can possibly play this and then just want to be like, oh, I just want to stay home and eat tacos and watch Harry Potter. Can't happen, man. This gets you amped up. It has to. I mean, how can you not get amped by this? If you're going to play one song in the gym, you have to play this. BFG Division. This track goes hard, man. Seriously. If you sit there and you're like, oh, I have no energy, I have no motivation to go to the gym, and you crank this track and you still don't want to go to the gym, there's no hope for you, man. One thing Mick does better than any other game composer is his mixing. His mixing and mastering is the key to this, right? Because everything punches, it hits exactly where it needs to, and it's like it pierces through your soul. And the interesting thing is, there is a science to it. And he broke it down to me as to how BFG hits so hard.
For BFG Division, for example, that riff itself is very specifically crafted for a tight mix. The most important thing in the mix is the snare drum, to me, especially in a rock or a metal track. The snare drum is the most important thing. And if you want your thing to be the loudest possible thing or the most important possible thing, you need to give it a stage or a platform where it stands on its own. And the best way to do that is ensure that whenever the snare is playing, nothing else is playing with it. So that BFG Division riff was literally written so there was a gap where the snare drum would be.
Even if you're not an audio person, you probably don't realize it. But having something mixed really well and mastered really well goes a long way, especially when you're at the gym, when everything hits harder, right? It allows you, from a mental standpoint, to pierce through that barrier. And that's why Mick is the key person to listen to if you go to the gym. If you take the electric guitar out and you just have the bass and the drums, it still goes hard. I truly believe if you play this song every day, you will never have depression. I'm telling you. There's no way you can play this song and be like, I'm depressed. There's nothing to live for. I don't want to exercise. There's no way. You have to play this song. If you're sad, if you're depressed, I am demanding you play this song. And the thing is, this isn't even my number one. The only reason why this is not my number one is because the number one song does a few more things dynamically. But before I get into it, here are some honorable mentions. Okay, what do you get when you take an awesome song from the underrated Robin Beantland and you give it to probably the greatest composer of the modern age? You get this. Pure perfection. That's what this is. And the thing is, This is the predecessor to BFG Division. There is no BFG Division without Cinder's theme. And here is something that a lot of people probably didn't even notice. BFG Division and Cinder's theme have the exact same tempo, right? If you take the drums out of BFG Division and you replace them with the drums from Cinder's theme, it works. Now, the thing is with Cinder's theme is there's a lot more going on dynamically than with BFG Division, right? It goes up in octaves. There's breakdowns. Even at the end or the conclusion of the song, it starts going. And you can actually do some pretty cool exercises in the gym, trying to stay in sync with the music as it gets more intense. So it's a really cool exercise, really cool thing you can try. You take the electric guitars out of this track, it just doesn't hit the same, man. Mick Gordon actually said to me when I interviewed him that he sometimes hears his own music when he goes to the gym. And I guarantee you it would have been this song that he heard.
I've been in gyms and I'm like sitting there trying to figure out how to do this clean or whatever and get it off the ground. And they've got like just some playlist happening and all of a sudden there'll be like a track come on and I'm like, oh my God, I can't be in this gym and have that playing at the same time.
And that is my top 10. Please let me know the video game music tracks that you play at the gym because I'm always keen to chuck new songs in the playlist because I can't possibly listen to every single video game music track that exists. So I'm always keen to hear new stuff. So thank you for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. And until next time, stay safe.